Hello, Lateral here, back for another F1 2021 video, and today we are here at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya in Spain for another track guide. As always, we're going to be doing one lap at full speed, one lap in detail, and then I'll show you the setup. That was the lap, and as you can see, it's a 1 minute 14.9. There's always room for improvement, but I was quite happy with that lap, and now we're going to go in more detail with that lap. Now starting off the lap, heading down the main straight, and we're going to reach a top speed of 201 miles per hour. Going into turn 1, we want to brake just after that service road on the left, and you want to be quite careful with how much track you use on the entry here, because there is a bump on that service road that can send the car up in the air, so be careful there. And then down to 4th gear, use the inside curbs, but you'll see that for turn 2 we feather the throttle a little bit just to help keep this car stable on that inside curb, because it can unsettle the car. Turn 3, try your best to hug the inside line, and then turn 4, you want to brake as you pass underneath that Pirelli billboard there. Use all the track on entry, down to 4th gear, take a very early apex and then run out wide on the exit, trying to get on throttle as early as possible and carry the speed through. Out of turn 4 straight into turn 5, braking downhill just at the end of that Rolex barrier, and then using the track on entry, including that curb, early apex, using the inside curb, short shifting the 4th gear and using all of the exit curb, and then exiting out of the corner through this curved section into turns 7 and 8, where we want to brake after that tree goes out of view, into the corner itself, and 4th gear using all of the inside curb here, and you really have to maximize the track usage here to help set up for the very next corner. You can see we nearly invalidate, but just about keep it on track. Avoid the sausage curb and head straight into turn 9, where you want to start turning it at the end of that curb, the entry curb there. Use the entry curb, not quite flat, you have to lift slightly, but using as much inside curb as possible, and the exit curb, taking that corner in 6th gear. Now into turn 10, you want to brake right on that 100 meter board and use as much of the track on entry as you can. We actually missed the apex slightly, which is not ideal, but short shifting to 3rd gear and then again into 4th. Use all the track here to help set up for this very next corner, which you'll see we don't quite take flat out, but definitely is a corner that you can take flat out. So ideally you want to take it flat out, just using that inside curb. Into this corner, braking point is mostly off of feeling, but you'll see that I'd like to take a line that is tight inside on the entry and then running out slightly out wide mid corner and then cutting back in on the exit to get a good run out of the corner. As you can see here, also utilizing the short shifting. Using all the track here into the right hander, we want to brake a little bit before that black box there, and then down to 3rd gear. Use as much of the red and white curb as possible on the apex, but avoid the sausage curb. Short shift up to 4th gear. Into the chicane you want to brake as that Fanatec billboard goes out of view. Down to 2nd gear. Be careful with the sausage curbs as they can unsettle the car, but use the short shifting to help stabilize the car, and on the exit use all of the track that you can get away with. Easy flat through the final corner, DRS, and finish off your lap at Spain. Now getting into the setup, and as always these setups are meant to work in the race conditions and not just over one lap in time trial. Starting off with the aero, we're using 7.9 wings, which felt quite planted and quite nice, as well as being pretty decent on the straights. And then for the transmission settings, 83% on throttle and 54% off throttle. So once again, a bit higher on the on throttle versus much lower on the off throttle. For the suspension geometry, maximum front camber -2.5 and then -1.9 degrees on the rear camber and then minimum toe. For the suspension settings, using 1.4, 3.6, and 1.7. For the suspension springs themselves, I tried using 5 on the rear springs, but the car felt a bit unstable when I tried that, so I lowered it back down to 4, and it felt really nice for me, and that was really the sweet spot for me. The anti-roll bars also felt quite nice, and then the ride height, I tried 1.8, but I was just getting insane understeer, and I went back down to 1.7, and in the end, 1.7 was the better option for me. For the brakes, using 100% brake pressure and 56% brake bias, which felt very good under braking. You can try 55% on the brake bias, but that was a bit too much towards the rear for me, and I was just constantly locking the rear tires under braking, so I just stuck with 56, and it felt really nice under braking. For the tire pressures, using actually default front tire pressures straight down the middle, 23 psi, and then for the rear tire pressures, for both of them, we're using 23.1, which also felt quite nice. That's going to be it for this track guide. Hopefully you found it helpful, and if you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, as there's plenty more track guides on the way, as well as some league racing content, hopefully very soon on this channel, as most of my leagues will be starting very soon. But thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.